Just when I thought I was getting the hang of this messed up world, the system glitched. Not just for me, but for everyone. The scenario interface, our only guide and tormentor, flickered, and then someone started typing. Right there, on the screen everyone could see. It was a hack, a brazen intrusion into the very fabric of our reality. And behind it, a woman with a smirk that could cut steel. Her name was Han Soo-young. She stood there, amidst the chaos, looking at me not as a fellow survivor, but as a rival. There was a dangerous glint in her eyes, a look that said she knew far more than she was letting on. The first words she spoke to me weren't a greeting or a threat, but a challenge. "You think you're the only one who knows how stories work?" My blood ran cold. How could she know? I was the only reader, the sole person who had finished the novel that this world was based on. Or so I thought. She was a ghost, a name I vaguely remembered from the author forums of Ways of Survival. A writer whose own web novel, SSS Grade Infinite Regressor, had been accused of plagiarizing the very story I held sacred. Then she vanished, right before the apocalypse began. And now, here she was, not just surviving, but manipulating the system itself. She was a writer, a creator of worlds, and she saw this catastrophic reality as just another draft to be edited. "This isn't a book," I told her, my voice tight. We were dodging the debris from a collapsing building, the screams of others echoing around us. "People are really dying." She just laughed, a sharp, cynical sound. "Fiction? Reality? What's the difference?" "A good story needs stakes, Dokja. It needs characters who feel real pain. You, of all people, should understand that." She was weaving through the danger with an unnerving grace, as if she'd already written this scene a dozen times and knew exactly where the hazards would be. It was infuriating. It was brilliant. And then, she showed me something that shattered my entire understanding of this world. She manipulated the system interface, pulling back a curtain I didn't even know was there. Floating in the air, visible only to us, were streams of text, like a cosmic live chat. These were the comments of the constellations. The mythical beings watching us, sponsoring us, treating our life or death struggles as their primetime entertainment. The abyssal black flame dragon is amused by the newcomer's audacity. The prisoner of the golden headband is scratching his head in confusion. Several constellations are intrigued by the rogue writer. My life wasn't just a story being retold, it was being broadcast. We were all unwilling actors on a universal stage, our suffering packaged and sold for the amusement of gods and demons. The Star Stream. That's what she called it. A vast interstellar network broadcasting the tragedy of humanity to the highest bidders. I felt sick. Every sacrifice, every desperate choice. It was all just content. Soo-young watched my face, her smirk softening into something almost like pity. "See? They're the real readers, and they're a fickle audience. They get bored easily." She gestured around us, at the chaos, at the fear. "You think you've been clever, using your knowledge of the future to get ahead, but you've just been following the script, playing your part as the protagonist." Her words hit me harder than any monster's attack. Was I just another puppet, my strings pulled by a narrative I thought I was controlling? I remembered reading Ways of Survival alone in my room, finding solace in the protagonist's journey. But now, I was inside it, and the lines between reader, character, and author were blurring into nothing. Flashbacks flickered through my mind. Moments from the novel, scenes I knew by heart, now intercut with the real, visceral memories of the past few days. The smell of dust and blood, the weight of a weapon in my hand, the faces of Yoo Jung-hyuk, Lee Hyun-sung, Yoo Sang-ga. They weren't just characters anymore. They were my companions. We found a brief moment of quiet in the ruins of a library, surrounded by the ghosts of a billion other stories. The air was thick with the smell of old paper and ozone. "What do you want?" I asked her, my voice low. She leaned against a toppled bookshelf, pulling a lemon-flavored candy from her pocket with a theatrical flair. Want? I want to write a better ending than the one that hack author came up with. The original was a masterpiece of tragedy, sure, but it was also a dead end. This, she said, popping the candy into her mouth, is my chance to write a sequel, a revision. And you, Kim Dokja, are a very interesting variable. I hated her confidence. I hated how she could trivialize everything I was fighting for. But I also knew she was a resource I couldn't ignore. She understood the story in a way no one else did, not as a reader, but as a creator. She saw the plot holes, the narrative threads, the potential for twists. A new scenario alert blared, demanding another impossible task. A wave of monsters surged down the street. Instinct took over. I drew my blade. Beside me, Han Soo-young didn't flinch. Instead, a strange, excited light filled her eyes. It was the look of a writer who had just stumbled upon the perfect plot twist. She looked at me, her voice cutting through the rising roar of the creatures. This is where it gets fun, reader. You've spent your whole life consuming a story. Now, it's time to start writing your own. She wasn't just taunting me anymore. It was an invitation, a challenge to co-author the fate of this world. I didn't trust her. I probably never would. But as we stood back to back, facing the oncoming horde, I realized she was right. I couldn't just be a reader anymore. Not if I wanted to see the epilogue. We were from different worlds, a reader and a writer, but our stories had just collided. A reluctant, volatile partnership was born. Not out of trust, but out of a shared, desperate need to control the narrative. The apocalypse wasn't the end of the story. It was just the beginning of our edit. And I had a feeling the Starstream was about to get a show they'd never forget. Thank you so much for watching this breakdown. This arc with Han Soo-young is one of my absolute favorites, introducing so many meta layers to the story. What did you think of her introduction? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more deep dives into this incredible world. Your support means everything. See you in the next scenario.